Soccer Senseis Extra Time with your co-host Rodrigo Salazar and Elis and Rodrigo. What's up, brothers? How you doing, man?
Hello, Rodrigo. How are you?
Good, man. Trying out this Google Plus. Trying to give guys, our fans, our audience, video every once in a while. We'll do video, especially now for the World Cup group stage. The group stage came out last Friday. And Group A, we'll start off with Group A. We're going to do Group A and B right now in this video. Group A is Brazil, Croatia, Mexico, and Cameroon. And I don't really see anybody toppling Brazil, especially not in the first stage. And unfortunately for Mexico, they got Brazil. It's not a good thing right now for the Mexican national team. You had told me something about Carlos Vela not participating or officially not part of the team for World Cup 2014?
It's still not unofficial yet, Rodrigo, but only last week did they hire Ander Herrera as a full-time coach. He has opened his door to Carlos Vela, but it's believed that Carlos Vela will be rejected the call-up to the national team. And as we all know, he's in tremendous form right now with Real Sociedad. He backed 4 goals in one match 2 weeks ago. And it would be such a major loss for Mexico not to have him on the squad, on the World Cup squad, as I think he would make a great partnership with Chicharito Hernandez. But Mexico, it's still having major issues in terms of consistency. They only snuck in through the back door to the World Cup in a playoff against New Zealand, and they're probably the only team who were able to make it to the World Cup by winning only 4 of their last 12 qualifiers.
Time out, Alice. Time out. Move your thing up. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Because before I could only see you to here. So, all right, we'll cut that out. But okay, go ahead. Whatever you're going, keep on going. Mexico.
The only team, Rodrigo, who've been able to make it to the World Cup by winning only 4 of their last 12 qualifiers. In 5 of them, the last 5 qualifiers, they changed 4 different coaches. So it is only now that they're coming to a conclusion, and they have given the task to Ander Herrera on a full-time basis. So he's the chosen one to lead into the World Cup. They can still come out of that group, but I do believe that they'll face tough opposition in terms of Cameroon, as Cameroon is very well placed to play under the humid and hot conditions of northeast and northwestern parts of Brazil. And in terms of quality, they'll also face a very quality side in Croatia. Croatia has, as we all know, they have some very big names in that squad. Mandzukic, Modric, Kovacic, a great youngster, Dario Serna, and they'll be looking out to make a statement as they missed out the last World Cup in South Africa, and they also faced the group of death last Euro 2012 championship, where they were handed a really difficult draw alongside Italy and Spain.
Time out. You're cutting out again. So remember your head. Okay, there you go. All right. We'll use it either way, but just so you have your full head. All right. So yeah, as you mentioned, Croatia is a very strong squad. Their captain Dario Serna, who plays for Shakhtar Donetsk, Korluka, who plays for Lokomotiv Moscow. 2 very, very strong defenders. They're not to be played with. They will come in with their hard tackle when need be. But then their midfield, to me, is their strong suit. You have Nico Kranjčar, who spent some time with Tottenham and now is playing for Queen's Park Rangers. Very tall, very, very physical guy. He can do it really nicely when it needs, when some creativity is needed. But he's just a very, very strong midfielder in general. Luka Modric, who you could say is their star because he plays for Real Madrid. Whenever he can get a sniff of the pitch, right now he's not really getting it because the likes of Isco, the likes of Di Maria, obviously Ronaldo. So he's a very good player. I think he's definitely maybe looking at the World Cup as what they call a shop window to maybe get to another team that will give him some more playing time. Ivan Rakitic, one of my favorite Croatian players, he plays for Sevilla. He is a very creative midfielder. To me, one of their best players on the Sevilla team. He could also score. He's a very good scorer. Perisic, who is now playing for Wolfsburg, had a very good spell at Dortmund. He's also a very solid midfielder. Milan Badelj, who plays for Hamburg, very strong team. The Croatian team is very good because a lot of their players play for the German in the Bundesliga, so they all know each other very well. Even though they don't play in the same team, they all know each other very well, and they know they're very compact as a team. Elis who also plays for Hamburg. Mateo Kovacic, as you mentioned, the youngster, only 19, but he can maybe get a spell out there. Ivica Orlik who plays for Wolfsburg. Eduardo, who comes from Arsenal, had a very bad injury. It was almost a career-ending injury, but wasn't. Fortunately, he got traded to Shakhtar Donetsk. He's playing very well there. Mandzukic, who's playing for Bayern Munich, very hard to get in that team because they're so stacked with talent there. And let's not forget Jelavic, who right now is playing for Everton. You may be easy to forget him because you have Lukaku in front of him and De La Feu, who's on loan from Barcelona. He's doing really well. He got the equalizing goal for them over the weekend against Arsenal. So yeah, I don't see Mexico getting past this squad. Obviously, I got to say Brazil is going to go forward, and they may be my pick to win it all just because it's so stacked. You could make 3 teams out of the Brazilian national team, and those 3 teams would be good from their bench going forward. It's such a good team. Obviously, I don't have to talk about who's on that team: Neymar, Robinho, Thiago Silva, Fernandinho. It's stacked. I mean, you can have a whole show just about how good they are, and it's good to see. It's good to watch. And Cameroon, they have an okay team, but I just don't think they're gonna get past the likes of Croatia and Brazil. But let's move on to Group B. Group B is a strong group, and I think it's right now it's Spain, Netherlands, Chile, and Australia. The odd man out, the odd country out right there, obviously, is Australia. I don't even know any players from Australia. I know one guy, Marco Rojas, because I bought him on FIFA once, and he was okay. He wasn't any that good. They're not strong, unfortunately. Actually, I got to cut all that out because Marco Rojas isn't from Australia. He's from New Zealand. My bad. Anyways, so on to Group B, Ellis. It's a very strong group. Some say that it's a group of death. You have Spain, Netherlands, Chile, and Australia, which was the odd man out. I don't really know any players from Australia. I don't know if you know of anybody there, but Spain, they're stacked in every position. They even have Diego Costa, who may or may not be part of the team. But up front, they have Fernando Torres, who sometimes turns it on for the World Cup, especially in qualifying, and maybe now this will be his chance to really turn the corner. And he's been a lot of corners to be turning, and he still hasn't gotten there yet. But David Villa is also a great player, and he's doing really well at Atletico Madrid. Diego Costa, as I mentioned, will be a great addition to the squad. Just adds a little something extra there. You have Pedro. I mean, Pedro is wonderful. He's a wonderful player. Plays for Barcelona. The midfield: Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets. The defense: Puyol is getting up there in age. I don't even know if he'll be playing for the national team just because of injuries. What do you think of Spain?
The question is, will they become the first team to defend the World Cup title? They have defended their Euro title, which was a magnificent achievement for any European team, something that was never achieved in European Championship history. So I think this could very well be the side who wins 4 major tournaments in a row. As you mentioned, now they're an aging squad. They're not the squad that we saw 4 years ago in South Africa. They have a few veterans in Carles Puyol, but we can see that a few other youngsters have risen to the occasion. I predict Mark Bartra fitting that squad perfectly. In terms of their offensive play, Diego Costa has given them a major boost and has accepted the call up to the Spanish national side and rejected Felipe Scolaris called to the Brazilian one. But what a great day to start, and what a great way to start the World Cup. On the second day after the Brazil-Croatia opener, we'll have a repeat of World Cup 2010 final. Can't get any better for the soccer fans.
Yeah, and looking at the Chilean side, I think it's going to be Spain and Chile going forward. Netherlands, has a soft spot in my heart for Netherlands. It's one of my favorite teams, but this year they're not as strong. They're not as strong as their neighbors, Belgium, who to me is one of the dark horses. I just think Chile is such a good team. In the back, you have Gary Medel, who's a defender, could be used as CDM, a central defensive midfielder. Mauricio Isla, another really good player. Marcos Gonzalez, he plays for Flamengo. Really, really good player. I think I see him. He's already in the twilight of his career, but a lot of these players that are at that twilight, and if they're not injured, they use the World Cup as like their swan song. They want to do well because it's a big deal, obviously. Matias Fernandez in the midfield. You also have Arturo Vidal, who we spoke about being the person who was left out of the Ballon d'Or conversation, unfortunately. But he's a huge factor for the Chilean team. I think maybe their best player, and Pinilla is a good forward for them as well. I think Chile has a very, very strong team, and I think they're going to go forward with Spain. What do you think?
I think the hiring of Van Gaal, the Champions League winner with Ajax, will really prove the difference in this group. I think he has what it takes to bring a rejuvenated Dutch squad and make them, and I guess join that. Okay, let's cut this. Bring a rejuvenated Dutch squad and include a few veterans in Van Persie, Schneider, and Robben. He's a great star and a player who can always make the difference on the pitch, and will in the end become successful and win their last two group stage fixtures against Chile and Australia. So I think that the emergence of such a imposing central defender in Vlaar, who plays at Aston Villa, has truly impressed me. And as we all know, Robin van Persie still has it. So this is a great player. They went through a very disastrous Euro 12 campaign under Bert van Marwijk, but the hiring of Van Gaal will prove a decisive factor in the Dutch overtaking a São Paulo leading Chile side, who have also managed to do quite well after the departure of Marcelo Bielsa.
Okay, great. Thanks, Elis, and thank you guys for joining us on Soccer Senseis Extra Time. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the intro because I'm going to cut this into two. Group A is long and Group B is long, so it's going to make it double. So I'm going to say, welcome to Soccer Senseis Extra Time. We're going to be discussing Group B in this video, and boom. All right, man. So,
Okay.
All right.